Good afternoon, cabbies and cavettes. My name is Sean Paul Dane. You are listening to London Taxi Radio. I am delighted to be joined by Andy Scott, who's one half of LondonTaxiPR. And it's got to be said, Andy, it's been a while since I saw you.
Indeed it has. Thanks, Sean, for having me on. Much
I think
appreciated.
the last time we saw each other, I think, was at the demonstration in Parliament Square.
I think it was. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
That's a little while ago now.
It certainly was.
And I remember I did give you a lift home and to Bow.
Yes,
but,
at the time. Yeah.
You've since gone up in the world and moved to somewhere more gentrified.
We've upped sticks from the former lunatic asylum and gone out to deepest, darkest Essex.
Well, you know what they say. You can take Bow out of the boy, but
that's it.
You know.
Yeah. There's more EastEnders out there than there probably is left in Bow at the moment. Anyway.
Yeah,
so.
probably. You're probably right. Now, just before we start, I'm going to, for those who don't know you, I'll just give a quick tale of the tape. You've been running your own public relations business since 2011.
Yeah.
And prior to that, you was a journalist for 10 years.
Yeah.
But more recently, you've authored 2 books.
I have, yeah.
The first one is called Tales of a Page and relays stories about your father's time working at the Dorchester during a golden period in London's history, which must have been absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
And the stories he's got to tell are brilliant.
Yeah.
And the second one is a rather lengthier book, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's called London's Lovable Villain,
Yeah.
which tells the true story of Chick Cocky Knight's colourful life as a professional wrestler of all things,
Yep.
and a pro boxer and a triple lifesaver.
Indeed.
And what we'll do at the end, Andy, is we'll give you a bit of a plug and you'll be able to tell people where they can get hold of those books if
Sure.
they so wish, because they make great bedtime reading.
Lovely.
I've got to say.
Appreciate that.
But before we come to all of that, maybe you can tell the listeners a little bit about how, why and when you got involved with London Taxi PR.
Sure. Where are we now? 2022. So we're probably going back 2017. I 2 of my good mates are cab drivers. I did my print training with them at London College of Printing all the way back in 1982 and whatever. And one of them just happened to mention to me about. He said, "Oh, you're in PR." He said a couple of cabbies have formed London Taxi PR, and he said it might be worth you having a chat with them. So I got together with Lee and Gary at the time. We met up and had a common feel for where they wanted to go and what they wanted to do with London Taxi PR, and I felt I could certainly help them and obviously help the profession, etc. And I was brought on board in a freelance capacity, which I'm still doing, just to help them obviously spread the word, use my contacts, use my experience, and see what I could do to garnish more coverage for what they do, obviously reach out to more publications, more people, and since then it's sort of spiraled, and I think we've sort of extended into more different areas, which has been really interesting. Really for me, it's been the whole thing has been a learning curve, an appreciation of obviously how hard it is to become a London taxi driver, the things that you have to put up with daily, the trials and tribulations that there are, obviously, as we know, with regards to the demos, etc. But yeah, it's good. There's never a dull day. I enjoy conversing with the drivers on the ranks. It's always nice to get a bit of appreciation, as there was today. One of them shouted out as I was walking along the Strand, and he knows a mate of mine. I've never seen him before in my life, but he said, "Oh, Andy, yeah, love what you're doing, just read your tweet, etc." Brilliant, lovely. I love all that. That's not for me. I'm not an egomaniac or whatever, but it's nice for London Taxi PR to get appreciation of like, they've seen that we're visible, we're out and about, we're dropping in the receipt pads, etc., and the ribbons, and all that.
But it's also got to be noted that what you and Lee do is not always visually explicit, to coin a phrase. quite a lot of what you do is getting a hold of local politicians, trying
Yep.
to keep taxis on the agenda.
Yep.
I know that you often reply to columnists and
Yep.
opinion pieces that try to defame our industry and wrongly identify private hire as taxis and
Exactly.
vice versa.
Yep.
And I know from experience that can be quite time consuming.
Yeah.
And given that it's been a while since we last saw each other, you do quite a lot of that, but drivers don't really hear about it, do they?
No. It's sort of escalated really, because obviously, like you say, it's been a while, and things have developed with regards to the state of the profession, and like I say, the things that the drivers have to put up with, and one of which is vehicles consistently and persistently parking and abusing London taxi ranks. And it was a case of our timeline was getting inundated with images and whatever, and it only took a few, and in particular obviously one company has been a persistent offender. So I've been in conversation with TfL over various issues for a long time, and through that I've gained more contacts. My network within TfL has expanded quite nicely, and I've always been a believer, and I still am to this day, if you don't get any joy, go to the top, which I've done
Every time.
Andy Byford personally, PA, etc., Bosch in, and I get a response. Now I copy everybody else in the food chain, so they know exactly what I'm doing, and why not? Because this got to a point in particular with regards to some of the ranks that were where it was happening, it was just getting ridiculous. So obviously, like you say, we was on the demos at Westminster, and from there various connections come out. I've got a good friend who's married to a former MP, and from them I made connections in with regards to the council. So again, that network has nicely expanded, so regularly conversing with the leader of Westminster City Council, and then all his parking cohorts down the food chain as well, and just being a real pain in the backside.
Well, I know you can be pretty cheeky. I remember a time, it was about the time of the demonstrations, that you told me that you'd made it to the top floor of City AM.
Yes.
At a time when they would be particularly obnoxious.
Yes. That was a nice coup. That was, yeah, but especially because it was one of those security only, entrances where you basically have to tell them who you are, and there's a image camera and whatever. So all I just waited for the first person that went in there and followed them in. Got in the lift, made out I knew exactly where I was going, got in there, and went straight up to the editor's desk.
Brilliant.
And told them exactly what I thought of what they were doing and how they were doing it wrong. Well, listen, like I say, I believe in calling a spade a spade. I will be as cheeky as anything, but only with good reason and good intention. I have been a pain in TfL and Westminster City Council side, but again, that has been for good reason, and that has now achieved results. We've got the marshals regularly patrolling, according to them. Let's hope that keeps up. I haven't had any further instances with regards to Conway, etc. at the moment, fingers crossed. Also, the pedicabs issue in Catherine Street, that's now being regularly patrolled. Obviously, we saw the other weekend the lovely picture of several pedicabs being escorted off into the distance, and long may that continue to happen. They're being prosecuted under Section 62 of the Pollutions Act, which is the noise, abuse, etc. So and they're gonna keep up. This is Westminster City Council. They're going to keep up the initiative, probably because hopefully they don't want to be built up by me anymore. But yeah, listen, like I say, and as we had the discussion just before this, I only took it up because I care. I feel somebody should care. I've got the connections. I felt it wouldn't take much time, which it didn't do, because I was going to the right people and reaching out to them nicely, but informing them basically of the offence that's taking place and why it's wrong and why it's interfering with working taxi drivers, and that it's got to stop. And
most things, if they're not under pressure, they're going to put it on the back foot.
Exactly, yeah. And it was the fact that, like I say, I didn't see at the time when I started it that anybody else was doing anything. So I thought somebody has to, just because I feel it's only right. I did converse with somebody who should remain nameless from one of the bodies, and I had nothing back. And I informed him of what was going on, and we'd met face to face at a promotion for the profession, and sadly there you go.
Well, it's good that you're on the case now. We've come out of lockdown, and like most businesses, the taxi trade was detrimentally impacted by the pandemic. Most drivers had to take alternative jobs. Some relied on the grant, some tried to struggle through, and a lot of trade initiatives, of course, were impacted as well. And I'm sure so was London Taxi PR.
Indeed.
How did you manage that, and have you recovered?
We managed it as cutely as possible, in terms of being aware of exactly what we have coming in every month, trying to reach out as much as possible to more and more people, again utilising social media a lot more because our budget had gone down significantly. But then again, we had the bounce back of obviously a lot of the freebie newspapers, so the likes of the Standard and Metro and whatever, and the Mail, not so much the Mail, obviously that's not freebie, but the other free newspapers were reaching out because obviously their advertising had been hit, so they were offering decent deals. And again, as we talked about earlier, it was the ability of, okay, well, you're offering this, but I've only got this, sadly, but I still want to do it. Can we reach an agreement somewhere along the line? And all right, if we've still got the space available, they would say, we'll come back to you. And sure enough, obviously they did. So it was like, well,
so you was able to cut your cloth.
Yeah, definitely, and get some still good coverage out of it. Still achieve good results, which is the end game anyway.
I do wish taxi drivers, though, sometimes would project more importance on raising the commercial profile of the trade, because there's only benefits can come of that. There's no downside to it.
No, exactly. It's all as I keep on alluding to when we put stuff out. It's for the benefit of all. It's seeing the bigger picture. The more promotion that there is, hopefully the more bums that there are on the seats in the back of cabs. That's the end game. So the more business that there is, the more beneficial it is to the drivers. The more beneficial it is to the drivers, the more beneficial it is for the garages, for the other businesses that are connected with the profession. It's about seeing that whole generic picture. And this is what I've tried to allude to when going around to engage with businesses who are connected with the profession with regards to initiatives that we've got planned surrounding the knowledge.
I mean, we'll come on to that, because I was coming through the other week. I was coming through the Limehouse Link tunnel, heading westbound, and as you come out of the tunnel, on the right you've got a Cockamoney Holiday Inn Express. I don't know why anybody would stay there. I don't know why anybody would have a hotel there. But there's also a billboard there, and on it was, well, it was certainly a revisiting of an older campaign by London Taxi PR of encouraging people to take up the knowledge. And it is and was a fantastic campaign. It was a series of taxi drivers, and really what it did was highlight the diversity within the trade, which is quite often overlooked. And as I say, there were wonderful pictures by Terry Gibbons, I think did that, as a cab driver and photographer. And I was really glad to see it revived, because it is such a striking campaign. And at the moment, crucially, we need to encourage uptake. Have you got anything in the pipeline that's specifically focused on uptake of the knowledge.
Yes. Again, I've been in discussion with TFL, particularly with regards to looking at the fees, which I've had a
Brilliant.
I've had a breakdown with regards to exactly how much an individual student is expected to lay out initially for them to embark on becoming a licensed London taxi driver and taking up the knowledge. Now obviously you've got to add into that then the cost of a bike, a moped, etc. You've got to add in the cost of the books
And the cost of living.
Yeah. Obviously fitting that around maybe doing another job, maybe childcare, etc. All of that, put all that in the melting pot, and you've got someone who's obviously going to be embarking on a new career that potentially the study could take between 2 to 4 years. All right, in most cases it'll probably take 2 or whatever, but depending how their time is and how their studies go, then that is the end goal. So it's a tremendous commitment, and like we said before, it's been referred to as the equivalent of going down the process of becoming a lawyer. It's all of the study
period anyway.
The study that you have to embark on, and learning all the roads and the streets, etc. So it's a tremendous commitment. So with regards to that, I've been trying to get around businesses, or engage over Zoom and whatever, with regards to the businesses who are connected with the profession, to say, look, we've got this initiative that we're looking at. We'd like you to be involved. I don't want to say too much about it at the moment because, like I say, it's at a generic state, but basically we want to encourage more students in. We want to get more places filled in the colleges, put more bums on seats in there, so that there is a take up, and that people can see that there is a career path there for them to become an individual business owner.
You don't need the barriers of a financial disincentive either,
no,
do you?
Exactly.
Really?
And the revisiting of the campaign was twofold, as you correctly alluded to promote the knowledge, to promote the profession as a potential career, but also to inform people of the diversity, of the diverse makeup of the profession. It's not just people tend to refer it as a white 40-50-year-old male dominated profession. Well, no, as you saw with them images that are up, far from it. There is a nice diverse makeup. All right, it could be added to and whatever. But again, as I've been saying to businesses, look, please see the bigger picture. The students of today are the drivers of tomorrow. They are going to be your customers. If you're a fleet owner, if you're a garage, if you're an insurance company, if you sell taxi parts or whatever, these people are going to be your customers. We want at LTPR you to become involved in helping to incentivise the next student that comes on board by a commitment, and we want to discuss with them how that's going to work, but so that those businesses are seen to be putting something in, but in the end we'll be getting something back.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
And so it's not putting in for nothing, and for them to say, oh, what am I going to get out of it? Well, what you're going to get out of it is a potential customer, or a definite customer, because they've signed up, etc. So it is like, we all want there to be a taxi profession and drivers and cabs going around in this great city of ours for the next God knows how many years. The last thing we want is to just be remembered as an icon of London that used to be whizzing around and no longer is. So anything that we can do to incentivise and to promote that, then that's what we're looking at doing. That's one of the areas, like I say, reaching out into new areas of advertising, of promotion, with regards to the sponsoring of the football clubs that as
well, we'll come on to that now, because you are broadening your horizons a little bit, and you are getting involved in football. So do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
How that come about, basically I've got an interest in grassroots football. Obviously where we are now out in Epping, I've been following Epping Town Football Club, and I've seen a few cabs out there, and it just so happened that a few of the cab drivers that I know out my way now, one of them happened to remark to me and said, "Oh, you know, such and such, he's involved as he's the chairman of West Essex FC, which is Mark Penfold." I said, "Oh, really? Oh, that's interesting." And then I went to see a game at Buckhurst Hill. I just happened to pop along, see a cab out there as well. And it just so happened that the first team coach there is a cab driver as well.
Right.
And then several others. So I got to thinking, okay, right. Bear in mind how many cabbies there are out in the Essex area. Our advertising and promotion that we've done.
Every other driveway at the moment's got a cab in it, doesn't it?
We've sort of... We flooded London when we did the last knowledge campaign with the digital billboards, and I thought, well, let's look at new areas. Let's look at Essex. Let's look at Kent, you know, etc., etc. So just at the moment, concentrating on the Essex area, I thought, right, let's get involved in the local football. The deals there for match day sponsorship are very reasonable. Again, it gives us a new area to promote the profession in, and promote us, London Taxi PR, and what we do to the drivers in that area. You never know who's going to be on their fans' side from whoever the opposition is playing, the team that we're sponsoring, etc. Be it West Essex
or indirect exposure as well.
Exactly. So again, I've gone through the fixtures, so I've tried to be quite cute again with regards to who they're playing and match them up. So like tomorrow night Buckhurst Hill are playing Southend. Well, that gives me coverage for that area, and I'll do the opposing fixture down that neck of the woods, you see, to get more exposure. So I thought, well, why not? It definitely makes a good idea. It's a reasonable deal. Like I say, we get nice coverage on social media, but we get coverage in the match day programme and on the front cover. I'll get to present the Man of the Match award as well, so more follow-on exposure in the next programme as well. So I'm effectively getting several bites of the cherry for my buck, or for our bucks as we're going on, which makes sense, you know. And we'll see what comes of it. You know, if we get new sign-ups, excellent, job done. You know, but again, it's just about putting us out and about there, and it's not to say it's going to be football centric. It might be something else that I'll look to connect us in with if there's an opportunity that I feel sits right with us, and that whoever the supporters base or the area or whatever is right for, you know, our profile and potential to gain new sign-ups, which is what we're all about.
So
really,
just generally, what does the future hold for London Taxi PR, and what else can we expect?
Well, what you can expect is more of what we're doing. You can expect to see more of my ugly face walking around town, and with me bag full of receipt pads and lanyards, etc. Hopefully get round a few more knowledge schools. That's one of the main things that I must do and I want to do. So the knowledge schools, I will be knocking on your doors, I promise that. And more promotion of the knowledge. We've got something big lined up with regards to that. One of the things I must say as well is that with regards to adding something new to it as well, and bear in mind how many people now use their phones for this, that and the other, I thought, right, okay, one of the things we do need significantly is a QR code to take us to the landing page, rather than have, as you will have seen, we've previously had the tfl.gov.uk / the knowledge,
I mean,
or whatever it is.
QR codes seem to sit dormant for a long time, but the pandemic brought them into prominence.
Exactly.
Now everybody seems to use a QR code.
Exactly. And I thought, well, great, that's exactly what we need. And I thought, well, hold on a minute, maybe TFL have got one sitting around somewhere,
Yeah.
or you know, because I've been keeping them informed of what we were doing.
No, they didn't have one. No, of course.
And the response was, initially the response was, we'll look into it, and then the response was, there are several, and to quote them, there are several sites that you can go on,
and none of them have a QR code,
where you can create your own QR code, right, if you so wish. So I thought, right, I will then. Thanks very much. So I went on one of the first sites. I followed all the instructions. I tapped in the website address, made sure that it was the proper landing page, etc. And it's quite easy to do. You got the QR code, got it out. I thought, right, okay, we'll give this a go. Add it up on the screen, flash my phone up, bosh, there it come up.
Brilliant.
TFL landing page. So I thought, right, thanks very much. Thanks for pointing me in that direction and not being bothered about doing anything about it. I've done something about it. We've now got it for us for future use, which it will be used on whatever we put out next with regards to the knowledge. And it's our QR code. Brilliant, lovely. Yeah. Thank you very much for pointing me in that direction. I've learnt something new and an added string to me bow. But I thought, why can you not be bothered about it?
I mean, look, Andy, I can't emphasise enough how important it is that we have positive promotion out there.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, you've got to put out to get back.
Yes.
And that's what London Taxi PR is all about. So with that in mind, Andy, if people want to contribute, and I hope more cabbies do, how can they get in touch?
So get in touch with us, visit the website www.LondonTaxiPR.com. There's all the direct debit buttons to push. You can go onto our Twitter feed and they're all on there as well, and get in touch with us, send me a DM, etc. if drivers want receipt pads or lanyards, etc. But if they come onto the landing page, they'll find out all the things about how to sign up and be a contributor, be they a driver or a business. And for the drivers, it's £2, £5 or £10 a month, which again now is nothing for
can't
promotion.
Argue with that, especially considering times are good out there at
exactly
the moment. Brilliant. And if they want a bit of bedtime reading, how can they get hold of your books?
Well, again, they can connect through our Twitter feed if they want to send me a DM or whatever, but otherwise both books are still available on eBay. There is a Facebook page, London's Lovable Villain, which they can go onto as well, which is dedicated solely to Chick and about his illustrious career and his father, who was a London taxi driver. And Tales of a Page, again, like I say, that's available on eBay as well.
Thank you for coming in today, and send my love to Lee.
I will do.
I don't know where he is, but we'll have to catch up with him.
No, definitely.
Soon, and it's great to see you. And
likewise.
I can't wait to see you again very soon.
Indeed. Hopefully I'll have had a haircut by the next time.
Your hair looks great. It looks very Epping. Like it doesn't look like you're from Bow at all.
Very astute.
From being in the middle of the riots. Nice. All right. Thanks, Andy. And
that's
like
a pleasure.
I said, I look forward to speaking to you again.
Indeed.
Thanks
very much. Cheers, Sean.
Thought you might say that. London Taxi Radio, the cabby's choice.